All right, you've always heard John Kasich described as the third man in this race because he is the third man in the race, but because he's so distant in delegates, only won one contest, his home state of Ohio, lost 29, and Donald Trump has said, what's he doing here? And then Ted Cruz is saying, what's he doing here? To a guy who thinks he knows. The former Wisconsin governor, big Kasich supporter, Scott McCallum. Governor, very good to have you.
Neil, good to be on again. Thank you.
What is he doing there? I mean, he's a good man. He's a decent man, even his critics would say, an accomplished governor. But it's just not resonating at the polls. And both of his opponents say, you're just messing it up for us. What do you say?
Well, first of all, it's a pretty good sign when both opponents want you out. If they weren't concerned about him, they wouldn't be saying that. This is going to go to convention. And first of all, Neil, it's going to be very good for you. It's going to be great theater. People will be able to see under the covers of what's going on in campaigns and at the convention. But it's ultimately going to be up to the delegates, some of whom have been elected, some of whom have been through caucus, others who are going to be free will of who they want to vote for at the convention. And as you pointed out, the person who seems to be one of the most popular, well-liked, and clearly the least disliked of all five candidates is going to have a good shot at it, just as Abraham Lincoln had a number of years ago.
But, you know, if you think about it, the traditional response of the Kasich folks, yourself included, sir, is that, well, he fares best against Hillary Clinton, and he does. But he is not making any headway within the party, because he hasn't. So is the better part of valor for him to recognize that and say that short of a very divided convention, it's just not happening?
Well, first of all, it is going to be a divided convention. Right now, if you play it through through the primary season, Donald Trump needs about 2/3 of the delegates that are still outstanding. Cruz needs 102%, and Kasich needs about 125%. So both of those over 100% aren't going to get it. Should both of them get out of the race and leave it to Donald Trump? I'm not sure a majority. I mean, you need a majority of the delegates.
How do you think that would go down, though, Governor? And you're right. In prior conventions where that had been contested, it brought us Abraham Lincoln, brought us, you know, Garfield. It brought us people who just came out of nowhere. Having said that, though, there's such acrimony and such nastiness. Let's say he were to become the nominee, and he was the guy who was in third place going into the convention. How do you think that's going to go down?
I think it'll go down very well, because what the delegates are going to look at is who is the person. It's not only who's best liked, it's who's disliked the least. And here's somebody who has not gotten into the nastiness of the campaign, somebody who tried to keep it above ground and talked about issues and policy, and someone who's got a record not only as an executive, but being able to lead people by bringing people together. And if he can have the art of bringing people together at the convention versus somebody who says he's very good at negotiating, which he'll use those tools to try to bring people together, that's how it'll play out.
Well, we'll see. But I can imagine the large camps for those other two guys would disagree with you. But again, things can change at a convention. You're right. Governor, always a pleasure. Thank you very, very much.
No, thank you.